Good evening, everybody. We are back with the English cast of the VCS, starting here on this lovely Thursday. We've got Low Key versus QTV Gaming. I'm Everyday Caster. With me, as always, is Yulwei. How are you, man?
Hello. Yeah, I'm great. We are finally back with week 4. Only a very short break after we had a super long break before in front of week 3. Only 3 days to cool down, and now the action will begin again. Last series for every team before we have rounded out the first round robin. So super interesting last few games. QG against Loki. What will we expect from this series every day?
There's going to be a big boot. It's going to be pushing down on the head of QTV. It's going to be a pretty rough game for them. Low Key is definitely the heavy favourite coming into this one.
Yeah, interestingly, if you only look at the standings, QTV not too far behind, 3-3, but they've struggled against better teams, and all their 3 wins were against worse teams. Okay, you can say they won against GUM again, but that was week 1 GUM, so not the greatest
week 1 GUM
achievement.
Was one of the worst teams I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's why we're quite heavily leaning towards Loki, I think, in this matchup, as Loki very probably one of the 2 best teams, and we'll have the series of the week later on Sunday when Loki faces off against GUM. That will be a banger for first place.
Absolutely. Yeah. Every GUM game at the moment has got me pretty excited.
Yeah.
I'm totally on. It's pretty exciting. We do have them playing later tonight as well, so stick around for that one. This series should be a nice warm-up for what should be a bit of a barn burner, Flash versus GUM. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We do have this game going on first, and I assume they're playing on 9:13.
Yeah, that's still 9:13.
Because 9:14 is the most broken patch ever.
Yeah, both in terms of bugs and also in terms of meta shifts, 9:14 will be something else. I've already
seen. Did you see the Twitter thread of all the bugs that have been found?
No, actually, not followed that.
There was 70 bugs, and that was just 70. In a Twitter thread.
Wow.
70. And like some of them were game breaking. Like Zed just didn't deal damage.
Oh, I mean, that's a nice change.
Pike could ult and kill his teammates.
Oh, that's wow.
He could just murder his teammate.
Could he get a double cut for himself?
I have no idea. I didn't actually see it. I just saw like
genius.
Posts about it. But oh my, like I'm actually pretty keen for 9:14 because I actually like the balance changes. I think it'll be fun, but they need to fix it.
Yeah, the bugs have to go. But yeah, I like the patch overall. I think Poppy has me hyped. Bard changes have me hyped. As a Poppy and Bard player myself, I like those changes a lot. I think we could see something like top lane Swain coming back into meta with all his changes. Yeah. Swain looks strong.
Absolutely. I think Swain's completely legit. Just a quiet little thing that probably isn't going to be meta, but if it is, I'm going to look like a prophet. Swain support is seeing play.
Oh, I've already seen someone talking about Swain support.
Yep.
I don't really see it. What is Swain support supposed to do?
Get it.
Yeah,
but it's a thing, apparently.
I mean, there are Volibear supports roaming around the Rift, so Swain support seems not like the biggest step from Volibear support.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? If you're going to play Volibear, why not play Swain in support? Doesn't matter. Pick Silas support.
Silas support, yeah, right.
Run Hex Flash block.
Please not. Yeah, we'll see the Hex Flash LeBlanc player in the second series. Optimus struggled a lot last week and needs to get back to his former self. One of the worst players from Flash side. Last week
he was just awful. It was a really bad time to say. Hopefully he returns to form because he hasn't been a bad mid laner. It's not like he's always been bad this split. He's had some very good games. We were saying how he was a pretty stable Backlane kind of null light.
Yeah.
Not quite as good as null, but hopefully coming back into that. But back into the current series, we do head into Champion Select.
Finally.
Now, it's been a week.
Yeah, and what
Kiana
are we
and
looking at for Champion Select? I expect Loki to go for another very standard composition they like.
But do Kiana and Mordekaiser exist this week?
Oh, yeah, that's a very good cue here. Last week we only saw one Mordekaiser game. He's on 100% win rate in the VCS. I've heard different analysts talk about Mordekaiser in very different ways. Mordekaiser seems to have a high priority in the EU, not at all prioritized in Korea, but he was disabled as well. So
yeah. So we do see a no ban coming in there for QTV. From what I understand, they accidentally broke some equipment on stage and copped a punishment for it. Not sure why Loki is no banning. I didn't hear anything about that. Maybe they're just, very honourable. 2 bans each.
Yeah.
I know QTV did something wrong. I'm not sure if Loki did, but
I've not heard anything about Loki either. So no.
I mean, that'd be like mad prop to them if they just said, "Hey, we want to play a fair game." So
possible.
That'd be mad props.
Maybe they did something too. I have no idea. Actually, there was one big or two big roster changes. Wow.
I think what's going on with Loki?
You okay?
What?
Loki? They want to play with all the OPs, I guess.
There must be something going on here.
Yeah, maybe those are actually bans. I expect those to actually be bans and not showing up on the... Wait, what?
This shows.
Yeah, that's really confusing.
There must be a penalty that we don't know about. Yeah. I don't understand otherwise.
So we have only 3 bans heading in the first game, which is very interesting. Mordekaiser, Kiana, Silas is banned, okay, but Sejuani's open, Karma's open, the best champ for Hani is open, Nico.
Yep, I like this pick. This is a great pick here, particularly for Loki. With this weird champion select, if this was two nameless teams, I think Nico priority would be very weird. But considering it's Hani, I think that's a really good pick. I'd like to see a proper OP pick up here. Has the VCS practice Kiana? I actually don't think you pick Mordekaiser. Actually, you're against an Aatrox, you can totally.
Yeah, but you have already locked in Nico for Hani. It's very probable that Hani will pilot the Nico. He's 5-0 on the Nico, most played champ, 100% win rate. So I fully expect Hani to go for the Nico once again. Lux still on her OP patch, 913. Big changes heading her way in 914. I'm actually not sure if she will see any play anymore in 914. But on 913 she's still the strongest support in the game, so no real surprise there.
Yep, and it looks like the answering enchanter will be that Karma picked up there for QTV. Probably mid, is the guess?
Yeah, could be support as well. Let me check my tapes here. No Karma support game for Zodiac so far, only Venus has played her once, so probably going to mid or top lane. That being said, Karma not under the most played champ for either mid or top lane, so QG has not had the most Karma games out of all our teams. We'll have to see where they want to slot her.
Yep, and it is the Azir pick there for Artifact. Nice, stable farming mid laner. Not a bad pick at all. If that does go into the Karma matchup, which I lean towards, obviously Aatrox and Karma can flex mid-top. Karma can flex between 4 roles. But if we're assuming solo lane Karma, they can flex, but typically Aatrox goes top, and typically the Karma would go mid just because of the Aatrox.
Yeah, especially because there's no top lane melee matchup you could abuse with the Karma, so it doesn't really make sense to send the Aatrox into the mid lane. I fully expect it to be Aatrox top, Karma mid, or Karma support. We could see that as well. Looking at Loki's team composition, there's something looming over their heads.
I know I didn't want to say it until the junglers was locked because there are still lots of AD junglers, and
Absolutely.
Gragas is banned. But with this is a pretty big jungle pool attack here. 3 junglers being banned out, considering 4 junglers actually with Silas as well.
Yeah, especially
Who do
looking
we
at DNK's champion pool so far. Usually you would go to Nidalee at this point, but please don't. That would be horrible in this comp. The only AD jungler still available for him is Olaf from his more than once picked champs. Olaf has absolutely fallen out of meta here in the VCS, so I don't really expect him to go for Olaf, especially paired up with the Ezreal. It's not great.
Olaf would be awful in this team. He just run in and die.
J4 is still open. Speaking of Olaf.
No, J4's banned. He got banned out by QG.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry.
It's actually a pretty heavy jungle pinch here.
Yay!
Kiana exists.
Yay!
She exists.
I'm so excited. Nice. Genza giving us the Kiana. That's super hype. Genza is one of our most playmaking oriented mid laners here, so super
That's
hype
absolutely
for the
what
Kiana.
happened. Yeah, I finally got some games in on her in this week. So I actually know how she works now. So
Yeah, I know her base combos, and
accurate play by play.
I actually don't think she's that hard to understand if you watch a few games for Kiana players. It's way harder to play than to understand, in my opinion.
Yep, and just to inform people, apparently Loki showed up late, so they lost 2 bans.
Oh,
Silly
that's
boys.
why we had the little delay. That's interesting.
Yep.
Oh no! Oh
And I actually
god!
would have preferred that Lee Sin lock-in.
Oh god, DNK, why? He has played 4 Nidalee games, and he has actually only won half of those. And considering Loki is sitting at an 11-4 game score, that's not great.
No, it's not. But I know that we have to talk about the top side. But
I hate this draft so much.
Nidalee into Olaf is actually pretty good. Because Olaf sits at low health in the jungle because he wants to use his initiative, and Nidalee can just walk into his jungler and kill it.
It is a very swingy matchup. If Olaf ever finds Nidalee on a level advantage, he can murder her as well. So this might be a very spicy jungle matchup. That being said, overall I like QG's comp a lot more in this first game, especially because Loki once again went for triple AP topside, the usual VCS red side draft for absolutely no reason. Maybe Hani goes for attack speed Nico, AD attack speed Nico. That would be a nice change. I don't expect him to.
I don't think so. I think the on hit Nico has just completely fallen out of favor. I actually think, interestingly enough, coming from the one trick on the cast, I think one time where on hit Nico is ridiculously good is actually just straight into Mordekaiser.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, Mordekaiser struggles a lot against all the ranged champions.
Just bully him out of the lane. That said, I got up 20 CS on a Kennen today. Go me. In lane. 1v1'd him at 6, no worries.
I have very sad news for you. That's not gonna happen in pro play.
No, it's not, because pros are good at the game.
Mostly on both sides. You'd hope.
Hopefully. You would definitely hope so, but I mean Cerberus is in the league, so.
Oh wow.
That was really harsh. That was so harsh. But looking back at these team comps, I absolutely favour QG here. One issue they run into a little bit is reliable engage.
And by the way, look at their damage profile. That looks eerily similar as well. It's only another letter there instead of AP.
Yep.
It's the triple AD topside, which is interesting. We have not seen triple AD topside, I think.
No, we certainly haven't. And I mean, they could potentially run into the same issue. But I think the one thing that going triple AD has over triple AP is typically AD champions don't take as much time.
Yeah, and they
which
go for
means
lethality as well, which means
exactly. So the armor's not as valuable, but still something to keep an eye on.
that said, you
Going
actually
into
naturally scale better against triple AD, obviously, because you get armor per level and only level, very small amount of MR per level. So, in terms of natural scaling, there's a slight advantage on the side of Loki, just because the enemy has so
but
much AD threats.
who on Loki can really build armor though?
Celebrity, actually. He could go
Yeah,
for
celebrity
Iceborne
can.
Gauntlet, be super tanky and annoying on the Ezreal, and super hard to deal with.
Yeah, that is true, but again,
Early
that's
Seekers
going
on
to be a
Harley
late.
could be possible as well, right? I mean, you don't want to delay your Super Soaker build, but that being said, that's still a super cheap build for
Yeah,
the
GLP.
Nico. Yeah, so she can just spec 1,200 gold into the arm guard and then go Super Soaker again.
Yep. Yeah, I
Tell
want
us
to
a
be
little about
keep
the Kiana in the mid lane. How is her laning phase going?
I mean, she's going to lose a little bit, especially to an Azir super early on. That's just by merit of being a melee champion. She doesn't really have kill threat for a little while without jungler intervention. But speaking of which, we could see Seal coming in. But the one thing she can do, I'm sure you know this, is her wall, which is my favorite element. Wall Q is an execute essentially,
Yeah.
which means it's really good for farming minions, which is what you use it for in lane. You just snipe minions the whole time, and it's got such a ridiculously low cooldown, especially because you can go Q W Q, and because the W resets the Q, and just snipe minion waves, which is really good to keep her in it. So she will probably go down a little bit in CS, I imagine, unless there's jungler intervention from Seal, but she'll be fine. It'll
Where
be a
would you
small
see
CS.
her openings in terms of solo kill potential, in terms of roam timings?
I think after first back, legitimately, I think after first back she can start to look for roams and 4-mans, particularly. Okay. She's just got such her elements are so potent.
I know
again,
the.
I'm not a Kiana expert, but
I'm very familiar with the water, reset, ults, and wall execute. So how this works is that you go close to the water, take the water element, and then you wait until your W cooldown is back off cooldown. So you have the free double Q, because how Q works is once you get a new element, Q cooldown resets. So you use E and Q. It's a little bit like the Yasuo combo. And you root them utilizing your water element. Then you immediately W to a wall, use ult and the new Q that has just reset to execute the enemy. If you want to see a very good showcase, maybe we get to see it in this game. Actually, there was one game in the LEC where the Kiana got multiple solo kills just utilizing this one combo again and again. So that seems to be her bread and butter.
Yeah, absolutely. Her ult is insanely powerful. It's hard to sort of overstate just how much power is in her ult. So if we see, and the thing to consider is how strong it is around objectives. You know, the Baron Pit, pretty big wall. Dragon Pit, also a pretty big wall. So we should definitely see some elemental action in those pits potentially. But we do need to see how Genza pilots this. He's already level 6, done pretty well there. He's actually gotten there ahead of Artifact.
Yeah, we're already 6 minutes into the game. So far we've only talked about the Kiana, because she's the new hot thing, right? But there was a cool bot lane gank happening. Zodiac and Jisa actually turning around the 2v3, especially with Seal hovering around bot lane as well. And they forced out the flash out of Venus. So in the end, a very good trade for QG bot lane. We saw a good reaction from Jisoo. We have seen a lot of Luxes be super successful with flash bindings. This time Jisoo reacted in time, so no early kills for Loki's bot lane.
No, it has been I mean, obviously, no first blood at 6 minutes is pretty crazy for the VCS. Kind of unbelievable that no one's gone down. And all. So we're going to have to look at where the aggression sort of comes from. Also, something to note, Nidalee behind on farm.
Yeah, Olaf is very fast clearing, and Nidalee so far has not been able to do a whole lot against him.
No, does steal away a blue buff though, which is nice for DNK, but it will be answered back by Seal here.
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty clear divide on the map. Top lane in control of Hani, mid lane mostly in control of Artifact as well. But the bot lane right now going in favor of QG, so it's easy for QG's jungler to invade the bot side, and he steals away the enemy blue.
Yeah, absolutely, very true. It's just I'm trying to think about where the points of pressure come in here. And the thing is, I think both teams are reasonably happy farming this one out for a little while. Qiyana certainly wants to try and get a lead early. Most AD assassins do want to look for a roam around level 6. Just typically is the play pattern of things like Yasuo, Zed, that sort of thing. But I don't think she's necessarily reliant on getting ahead. I think she actually does fine if she's just even.
Yeah. Her scaling is very weird to assess, I would say, because she's not a great sideliner, actually. She doesn't have the best wave clear. She doesn't want to stick in mid lane and wave clear against the Azir in later stages. She needs to get kills, but she doesn't need to get kills like a LeBlanc does. She doesn't need the kills to accelerate her build. It's good for her, obviously, but she's still okay in the late game, and she can still one-shot someone without even securing a single kill. It's harder, but she can definitely do that. So her mid and late game playstyle is a lot like something like Talon, for example, just roaming around, looking for outplays, looking for advantages in numbers, and trying to create plays. She doesn't really follow the traditional Z playstyle, which is just pressuring side lanes because you're unbeatable in the 1v1. That's not really what Qiyana does.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm just thinking about when this pressure will break. DNK is coming in the top here. Could potentially find Hero pushed up the lane, but I think he knows something is up. Yep. Now spotted on a ward, so they know where the enemy jungler is. They're pushing to get this control ward, knowing that it's not going to be a 2v2. Nice little play there. But yeah, other than this dragon going down, there have been no objectives taken except for one tower plate in the mid lane for low key and 2 in the bottom lane for QG. So
yeah, very quiet game, as you alluded to earlier. Very low kill game so far. Which team is actually favored in this kind of slow early game? It's really hard to read for me.
I feel like you kind of have to go towards low key, but not by much. But I just think any comp that has an Azir and an Ezreal is happy to have a quiet early game.
That being said, they don't have any kind of front line on this team. 5 very squishy champions that can be explosive in teamfights, especially with Artifact and Hani combining their ults together, Ezreal utilizing his poke damage. I don't really like their overall 5v5. I think they have strong 5v5 champs, but their comp doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. On the other side, I think QG's is a little bit more coherent. We have a strong bot lane that can be a reliable backline. Seal can dive the backline together with Hero on the other side, and then Genzer is just there to create chaos. So I think overall I like the 5v5. It's Ezreal. I like the 5v5 a little bit more on QG's side, but I'm not willing to call a real scaling advantage.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. The engage. Oh, hello, up in the top lane here. Ults are being burned. Hani actually nearly dies there. Hero could have potentially tried to play that a little bit more aggro, but is happy enough just to take the lane advantage.
And by the way,
he's doing well up there.
Yeah, we have not talked about Hero back in as the starting top laner. There was a little bit of a weird player swap last week happening for QG. They actually went back to Niven in the top lane, played him in the jungle as well. But now we're back to the traditional lineup: Hero, Seal, Genza, Jisoo, and Zodiac. And so far, a Hero has done super great, as you alluded to.
Yeah, I do think that weird lineup was just because of who they were playing. I think we both commented on it. Yeah, I mean, that was getting very dicey there, but I think the reason they did it is they were against QGV.
FTV, yeah.
FTV, sorry. I got my names mixed up there with QG and FTV. They're against FTV, which should be an easy matchup. Genza goes for the engage here, does hit the ult, but unfortunately he's on the wrong side of the wall. But DK gets bound up here. He goes back in. Genza takes so much damage, but First Blood will go over to the side of QG onto Seal. Hani in so much trouble. He burns his ult, but Aatrox is doing so much damage. Hani should go down any moment here. If he gets away, it's an absolute sin. And he
Everyone comes to the party in the mid lane, but it's only a party for QG. Big advantage. Now secure 2k gold lead after this first team fight. And to be fair, the Kiana actually didn't really hit her ult, but she's fortunate enough, of course her ult is in ridiculously OP, to still stun Artifact on the backside there. We have to look at the fight again. I think we saw the early advantage of Olaf over Nidalee. Olaf's such a strong skirmisher. Nidalee usually a strong skirmisher herself, but not to the level of Olaf.
Absolutely.
Hani Rift Herald has cheeky.
They don't have much time to use it, but
yeah, look at this. Artifact actually is still fine at this point, but now DNK gets wow, what the flash? That was a very curious flash from DNK.
Almost a misclick, and there, just as we also saw Artifact, just having a little bit of trouble there, considering his wall. Olaf doesn't care much about it when that ult is popped.
I think he thought he had the damage to burst down Genza there with the flash, but terrible misjudgment from DNK. He could have flashed out of there, and the fight would have been over. In the end, he overcommits, kind of lures all his teammates into the fight, and then in the end it's a 3-4-1 in favor of QG. Big advantage secured for the underdog in this matchup.
Absolutely. It was not only was it the 2-kill advantage, they also picked up Rift Herald. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it down before 14 minutes. They only had about 40 seconds from when they picked it up, so it's pretty forgivable.
Yeah, and this time it's a Rift Herald not traded for a turret on the other side of the map. So this Herald, even though it's not the most valuable without the turret platings available, it will still give them the first turret, so 450 gold in the pockets of Jisoo.
Yeah, which is super nice. Solo gold for first turret. Onto your ADC. Can't really complain about that one. Speaking of the ADCs, they've both got their first item. The Essence Reaver and the Mana Moon. And also the Sheen picked up for Celebrity, so he's actually doing pretty well so far. But still, in terms of power, it's the Kaiser for a little while. Oh, Venus, you're in so much trouble, mate. Have you got the flash? He does. Won't be able to get sniped by an axe either. That was a dirty little setup. And Venus, you're a bit lucky there that you got away.
Yeah, and a little bit on his Aftershock as well, but had to invest all his summoners on top of that to get out of there. So now the pick plays from QG begin. They have secured themselves an early advantage, so now Olaf can go wherever he wants. He's level 10. He can group up with Genza to look for picks, and all the other players will just wave clear the remaining waves.
Yep, absolutely. This is that one fight there around that river has almost completely cracked the game open here, and it actually looks like QG is going to take a pretty massive lead. The turret up top is very, very low, and Hero is really dominating that lane matchup now. Of course, Hani has been sent bot, so it's not a direct lane matchup anymore, but he is 30 CS up over his opposite number. Genza, very competitive in CS as well, only a little bit behind in Azir, which is fine for a Kiana. overall, this is going really, really well for QG, which is good to see.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about QG and how their mid game usually looks. They are actually a very good team when it comes to closing out the game. Their big problem against top tier teams so far has been that their early game is not good enough. Clearly not the case in this game. Looking at their stats, they're actually behind on average 1,172 gold at 15 minutes, and that was not the case in this game. I didn't check their win rate with Elite, but it has to be something like 90% because they have won almost all the games they were in Elite in. They've actually won a fair bit of games where they were behind. So overall, their team play and their coordination is one of the best in the league. So I fully expect them to be able to close out this game from this much of a lead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, yeah, exactly. You're spot on there. Their game plan is clean generally. They are a team that really does look like they know what they're doing, which is something the VCS teams, even the Gum, who I think we are mostly saying is probably the best team in the league at the moment, just based on their play. They'll have to prove it this week, but hesitantly power ranking. Their mid game doesn't look great, but QG on the other hand, they are quite the opposite. Not as mechanically ridiculous and winning crazy solo kills, that sort of thing. They like to play a game like this where it's really quiet for a while, and then something breaks, they get a lead, and bang, they win the game.
Yeah, and already looking a little bit ahead to the next game, if Loki indeed ends up losing this one, this is a very important game for them. They want to win this one to secure their first place spot, so they need to come back with the reverse sweep in the next two games. I want to see another jungle pick. I think forcing the NK on the... Okay, hold the thought. No, it's nothing has happened. The Nidalee is a very good pick and ban plan.
I think we might have lost sync, by the way.
Oh, that's a little bit unfortunate.
Yeah.
Can resync at 1845.
Okay, I'm at 1845 now.
Okay, yeah. We should be decently in sync.
We should be alright there. Ooh, Zodiac taking a lot of damage there, but Karma Shields will win the day, and he's okay. Just walks away. No problem. Looking at builds, is there anything particularly interesting here? Aatrox finishing that more of Malmortius first. I really like it. Yeah, I think it's definitely interesting, but I think it's a good decision.
Yeah, there's no one dealing damage to him right now.
No, there absolutely isn't. This is the problem with going 3 of the same damage type, for the record. And looking at builds on Loki, we do see Celebrity, as you very much predicted. Celebrity has picked up that Iceborne Gauntlet. You're against 4 AD threats and a Karma, so pretty foolish not to pick up that free armor.
Yeah, he's super tanky, but he's not strong enough to win the teamfights right now, right? Look, whoa,
seal.
Wait, did the whole wall just explode?
Yeah, it's the whole wall.
Up until the
it goes to the base.
It
goes to the base.
Both bases.
Yep.
Wow, that's an interaction.
It's ridiculous.
What?
It's absurd. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, like, the thing is, of course, it sounds ridiculous, but, like, how often is that actually?
Yeah, it's not actually that useful, but it is ridiculous.
Yeah. It's absurd, but it's not like you're ever going to snipe someone that's just outside your base and their base. That'd be the most absurd thing ever.
Did you see the interesting interaction with J4 ult, where you can extend the Kiana ult, especially in the blue side, top side jungle? If you J4 ult in the right spot, you can actually explode all the walls at once with one Kiana.
I wonder if you can, okay, that makes me want to get some friends together and see how big a Kiana ult we can make if you have like J4, Anivia, Trundle, all the terrain, and just like make a Kiana ult that hits the entire map.
We're definitely in for very cool plays as long as Kiana is meta. So many. This wall there is a super good tool as well. The red jungle wall.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting. Ooh, hello, Jisoo taking so much damage here. Celebrity hunts him down.
Yep, you
Ezreal.
can't really
You
1v1
can't
the
1v1.
Ezreal here. Ezreal has 60 armor for himself. You don't deal any damage to him. Not the greatest choice for Jisoo, and one kill back to Loki doesn't really do anything for them. As long as Loki can't convert with a turret, which I don't expect.
Absolutely not. There's still going to be a 4k gold lead for QG, even though Jisoo does make that misstep. Should be fine. Now, Hero might be a little bit of trouble there. No, just pops the blade and off he goes. Not scared at all. We do need to see QG to continue to press this advantage, though. We praise them for having a stable game plan, and I think they are putting themselves into a game plan. They just want a 1-3-1. But I'm not sure if that's the best decision. Because as you pointed out, Kiana's not the best side laner. Wow. As we say it, he goes in on Artifact, does an insane amount of damage. Doesn't quite get the kill because of the Azir War, but Seal is here, Zodiac as well to make sure it's completely safe. That's an easy kill.
What happened to the TP? Wow, he really should have not cancelled that TP. Yeah. That was a free kill.
Yeah, I think that might have been some instincts kicking in. Yeah. CTP, CTP. But definitely...
This outplay again. Oh my god.
He just doesn't do damage. Look at the auto attacks. They don't do anything.
Auto attacks don't do any damage. Oh my
god. And the
god.
luck shield as well. The flash was cool. Unfortunate there for Jisoo. A little bit of a low light moment. I mean, he hasn't really done much else this game. Not much has been required of him. So it might be the only highlighted play coming out from him is him getting massively outplayed by an Ezreal.
We finally see a few of the predicted arm guards coming in, especially now built for Artifact, and Hani's working on his Zhonya's as well. So it will be increasingly difficult for Kinza to find targets to one-shot. I think there's only DNK and Venus really available right now. Ezreal is too tanky. We already saw his damage is not enough to kill Artifact. Hani might still be in kill range if he hits everything. Yeah, I think Kinza has a little bit of a hard game to play for himself here. It's not been accelerated.
Yeah, I certainly agree. And, ooh, Hero, you might be in a bit of trouble, but no, Dodge pops that Aatrox speed boost, dodges the E. Ooh, Ezreal slow lands. They could potentially have chased there, but it would have been a very long and dangerous chase. And very smart there by QG just to start Baron. Because then what are you going to do? Chase Aatrox and let us have Baron? Yeah. They obviously have to call the chase off.
And he still had his flash available. Good call from Loki to not continue the chase there. By the way, I think Aatrox E is one of the most clunkily looking spells in the game. Yep. Very ugly. Yep.
He puts those Heelys on and slides a little bit, but it's an awkward looking one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Poor Aatrox, of course, losing his revive next patch.
We will be stronger next patch.
I agree, but I mean, Aatrox main.
But I absolutely loved the fan-made temp spotlight on Reddit.
That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
So funny. I am mortal. Oh man.
Looking at the items and a little bit on the timing, we had already 25 minutes into the game, only 6 kills have been locked down. Yeah. Very unusual for VCS. I think QG is waiting for Jisoo's third item right now until they want to force team fights. It's a little bit risky because armor is finally being built by the mages, so they will be more sturdy. Looking at your Olaf, he has all your kills. He's still strong, but he's squishy. He doesn't really have a whole lot of resistances. Not a whole. He has a bit of MR, but yeah, this game is still on a nice edge. Even though QG is 5k gold ahead, I don't think it's more than a 60% chance right now to win the game. Loki's still in this.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely. And one explosive team fight could swing this game very, very heavily either way. If we see Artifact going with a really good, Azir Insec or the Shurima Shuffle, that can just win them the game pretty much on the spot. But at the same time, I think we were talking a little bit earlier about Genza not having as many targets at the moment. But I think he still absolutely can kill D&K. And killing the jungler is huge. So I don't think he minds that much.
Yeah.
So,
Look at Hero. Hero is sitting at a 500 gold bounty only from CS. He has been farming everything. He's
nearly
almost
flame
ahead.
price.
75. Wow.
Yeah.
Hani is struggling a lot in this top lane matchup, which is not great, because usually we don't talk about split push win condition being a viable thing to play around as an Aatrox. But if your Aatrox is stomping every solo laner on the other side, why not? He absolutely has the capability of split pushing. He has a lot of damage.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Hani can't stop him if he wants to go in on him. Yeah, no, Hani's got no chance. He can clear waves. Obviously, Nico's got pretty...
This is a Baron.
Ooh, this is the setup for the massive flank. Baron's already down to 8,000 health here. QG will back off, though. Baron starts to regain health. Ooh, they've called the bluff here.
Yeah. You say down already.
Really indecisive.
But this is a little bit late. Loki, where are you?
They thought it was a bluff.
So they counter-called the bluff on the side of QG, and now the flank is coming in.
Yep. Now here comes Hero. He's so big. Artifact will be the first target, but I think that they were so keen on Artifact there when he had his flash up. But at the same time, there's no kills happen. But that's a Baron picked up for QG. Low key, just made the wrong call.
Yeah, absolutely. The team fight from Hero was absolutely hilarious. He went in there, realized he couldn't do anything, and just slided out on the other side. Nicely done.
Just, hey guys, just flying on through. Don't mind me.
Now they have secured the Baron buff, so yeah, but that's in second ocean. That doesn't really do anything for them. It delays the Elder Dragon a little bit, which is nice. Sorry. And now they are out of position, so this dragon might actually cost them the inhibitor turret, because 2 members are still porting back there on the other side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, it will certainly cost them a little bit of positioning on it, but I don't think the siege coming in from QG is actually particularly good here. In fact, I think it's quite bad. So we're going to have to see how they play this one out. I think you do just do a little bit of 1-3-1, at least just to draw Artifact into a side lane, because the Azir has such ridiculously good wave clear that if you can get him away from the main threat, it's a very, very good boon for your team.
Yeah, there are a few different ways to play out this one. The safest is, as you just said, try to 3-lane this Baron buff. You have 5 Baron buffs available, so try to get all the inner turrets, extend your vision lead, and go for a 2 Baron play. You can just freely secure the second Baron if you get all the outer turrets. That's the highest percentage play. You can look for a dive. That's very risky.
Absolutely. It would be. I don't think you need to make that play. No. Is the thing.
Try to brute force one lane is another way.
Yep.
I mean, they don't really have the best range, as you said. Their siege is not great. The mid lane inhibitor turret is still almost down, so they might brute force this inhibitor turret down. Yep, there it is.
Yep. Just force Jisoo in there. He picks it up. But Azir turret will buy even more time. The Sun Disc has been summoned. They're just using as much time of this Baron buff up are low key. And I don't think we're going to see an inhibitor fall in the duration of this Baron buff.
They still got 1 inhibitor turret, so now... sadly for them it's the mid lane inhibitor turret, so there's not really good backdoor opportunity or split push opportunity. They would have loved to get the bot lane inhibitor turret to pressure with Aatrox on the bot lane, constantly threatening the inhibitor kill, while they can play around Baron. That's not an option now, so the game might be delayed by a few more minutes. It's still firmly in control for QG.
Absolutely, they're playing this out really, really well. We've said this a few times. This is a very non-VCS like game. 6 kills at 31 minutes. Like, what are we watching?
Good League of Legends.
You'd almost think, Yeah, I mean, this is excellent League of Legends coming out from QG. It's really, really good to see. They're not going for these risky, crazy plays. Like, as you said, there were a few ways to play out that situation on inhibitors, and different teams will play things out differently. But they just went for the safest option. They said, hey, if we play it like this, 80% chance of winning. That's the highest odds we're going to get. So let's just play to the highest odds, right? And I think that's good. That's how you win series. You play to your highest odds.
Yeah, we've seen a shift away from the 80% playstyle and this year especially, but especially QG with an early lead, I think they wanted to secure this very important game victory, so they are playing a little bit more on the safer side. And looking at Loki's team composition, it's actually only a very low threat that Loki can make the game turning play, because their engage is not great. They really only have the Shurima shuffle, and Shurima shuffling from behind is almost impossible.
Yeah. But just to go back to a comment you made, that people are shifting away from the 80% plays, and that's true. Like, we've seen some of the best teams in the world go for those crazy plays. Like look at G2 LEC. They go for insane plays, but they do that because they're mechanically sick. I think if you're a team like QG, maybe your mechanics aren't quite as good. I mean, Hero is actually pretty mechanically solid. They're not bad by any means, but, you know, typically we do see QG, they lose games because they get behind in lane, where their individual play is a little bit exploited. If you're in that situation, I think playing to the 80% becomes much better.
Yeah.
You just
this
take
game
less
is
risk.
Almost over, I think. There's not a whole lot Loki can do. 10,000 gold behind. Mountain Drake will be spawning in 15 seconds, so Baron will be even easier for QG. Look at the items. There's not a whole lot invested in armor on the side of Loki. I have to question DNK's boots choice. What is that about? That's strange, to say the least.
Merc Treads. Yeah, Merc Treads. I only just noticed that. That's atrocious. What are you doing?
I also have to question double pen boots for the Yo mages when you can go ninja Terbai. Look at the damage from Genza.
Oh, wow. That was so much. And down goes Hani. This should be potentially the final team fight. Ooh, Genza really going by the skin of his teeth there. Only just gets out. Gets hit by that Ezold as well. But DNK taking so much damage. His seal is just going to kill him. This is a dead cat. And on the front line, their hero gets a kill. The Aatrox is reset. This should be the game-ending fight here. As the inhib will be picked up. Celebrity firing that artillery, trying to do his best. Jisoo wants his revenge and he gets it.
Yeah.
Manages to pick it up. This is going to be GG QG, not the team we thought would come out here.
Yeah, and after a very slow game, a super assertive team fight to end the game, I expected them to go for a slow Baron setup, to get the second Baron, slowly push in, wait for the last stand for Loki. In the end, they saw the opportunity, capitalized on it. Great teamfight execution, once again showing their decisiveness, even if it didn't look like the most aggressive game for QG. A very convincing game one, surprising Loki with a very good performance. And Loki, our top team in the league, needs to come back from this first game loss.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to see them just... if you can't get the lead in the lane, they need to do something to actually get back in the game. They just didn't do anything that game. QG was setting the tone the entire game. It felt like the entire game it was QG pulling the strings. Yeah. I mean, if you just let the other team dictate the entire game, you don't win.
I have to say I'm not the biggest fan of Azir, Artifact on Azir. He was 3-0 before we saw this game, so this was his first loss on the Azir. I like him on Playmakers, I like him on Assassins. I think he's the focal point for Loki most of the time, especially early on in the season. He was Celebrity stepping up more and more in the last week, but Celebrity still played a good game, the last game, and Artifact had absolutely no game impact. I want to see Artifact back on Playmakers, back on lane dominant, solo kill oriented champs to make the difference here against Genza.
Yep, I completely agree. It'll be interesting going into game 2. I hope as much as that was very good League of Legends, I do hope we see a little bit more of a VCS game. Always a bit more fun, rather than just the choke out style. But regardless, excellent performance from QG. Hopefully, Loki can refine their footing going
Yeah.
into this series and hopefully take us to a game 3.
Last thing we need to discuss before we are hitting a little bit of a pause, the MVP, obviously.
I think I know who my vote goes to.
Okay. I'm
Hero.
actually... Yeah, Hero played a very good game. His teamfight impact wasn't the greatest. His flanks were a little bit iffy, but he dominated the side lane.
His final team fight impact was huge.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
last team he played awesome. There was only like 2 team fights or something.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Why not give it to Hero? I think all of QG played great. This was more of a team effort victory. Seal had a good early game. Not Celebrity, I'm sorry. Jisoo with a big blunder in the mid lane, but then getting his revenge after hitting his items finally. Not MVP worthy. So yeah, I'm fine with Hero getting the MVP for game 1, and his Aatrox performance, especially into a very hard matchup into Nico.
Yep, absolutely. Played very, very well.
Yeah, we'll be back in 6 minutes roughly to see if Loki can come back or QG be able to close out their first serious win against the top tier team. Welcome back, everyone, for game 2 between QG and Loki. We expected this to be a blowout for Loki, to be a very easy series to warm up for this top tier team, but instead, QG coming out on top in game 1 with a very clean, very macro oriented, slow victory, closing out the game at 33 minutes. What are we looking at coming into game 2 every day?
I think we need to see a more proactive comp for Loki. And Seal picking up the official MVP. He had a good game.
He had a good
Definitely had a very
KDA game, yeah.
True, but I do think his Olaf was pretty good. I think, as we were saying, everyone on QG played pretty well, except Jisoo with that one bit of a whoops, but, didn't really matter.
Yeah, probably very satisfying for Seal after being subbed out for absolutely no reason in the last series. Coming back and beating the number 1 team right now in the VCS, at least in terms of standings.
Yeah, absolutely. But looking ahead to game 2, I want to see a more proactive draft. As you pointed out, we want to see Artifact back on carries rather than just Azir. It's interesting that despite Azir having a reasonably high presence in pro play and actually doing quite a lot, never really want to see him picked. He just doesn't seem to improve team comps. He's just almost just, ooh, we need something in mid lane that's not going to die. Not just pick Azir.
Yeah, I think 2 weeks back we talked about laziness and picket bans, and Azir being a little bit of lazy pick. Whenever you don't know what you want to play mid, you just go back to the Azir, because, yeah, he works every time. Exactly. Kind of the same happened in game 1. I don't really like the Azir pickup if you already prioritized Hani's Nico. Maybe you need more of the AD solo lane approach in that case.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it might be interesting. We may well see the Kiana go to Loki this time. I'd actually quite like that pick. If,
first Kiana actually won a game, but how would you evaluate this first Kiana game from Genza?
Didn't really do much. No. Did much, did.
Well, sadly, we didn't really get to see a lot of Kiana plays. This was a very controlled game. That's not really the style you want to play if you go for Kiana. They were still successful, so nice showing. Hopefully we get to see a little bit more of a carry performance out of another Kiana player in the VCS. And with her being played in the first game in week 4, I think we can expect more Kiana picks.
Yeah, I completely agree. I do think she is a good champion, and if we see, because we should have bans back turned on this game as well, just something to note. That was a very odd champion select, with only 3 champions being banned before the first pick, due to both teams being naughty boys and being disciplined, as they should. But we should be getting 6 bans this time, hopefully. I assume you don't carry the bans through the whole. You don't carry the penalty through the whole series. That'd be very harsh.
Yeah, I'd not expect that to happen. That being said, we are already hinting the timer here.
That's harsh, VCS.
Wow. They really don't like teams showing up too late. That's super harsh. Imagine Loki losing this second game as well, going out in week 4 with the 0-2 loss to QTV, losing their first spot in the league. Dude,
this is really harsh.
Showing up late to stage. That's gonna be a spanking back home. And the ban for QTV is still, the no ban is still there as well, so they are still punished for their what exactly happened to them?
One of their players, I'm not sure who, had their phone in their pocket during pick and ban, which is obviously a no-no, but it was probably just a brain fart. It happens. That kind of thing happens, but yep, you cop a bet, you lose a ban for that one. Losing your bans for the entire series. VCS does not play around.
Yeah, that's really
Any
harsh.
other region, that would have been just game 1.
Obviously, that opens up many OP picks. Once again, Kiana probably going through draft, as Silas seems to be the #1 priority today. which is fair. We're still on 9.13, so he's still super great. Best jungle pick probably available. Oh, the coach actually
wow.
Coach did it. It's horrible.
Yeah, that's a real mess up. Yeah, that's
And the coach for QTV Gaming is named QTV. It's confusing.
did not notice that till I know what we're both looking at when he said QTV brought their phone. I was like, did they just have a collective phone that they just walked on stage? But yeah, in terms of the bans, exactly the same as last game. Jisoo pretty much always drawing Kalista bans. He's very good on that champion. So low-key only gets one ban, and they use it to ban out Kalista. Interesting decision, to say the least.
But Hani secured for Loki. That's another very interesting pick. Hani has looked best on his Nico. His first loss came in the last game with the Nico. Still on 100% win rate on the Aatrox as well, but only 2 games played, so not the most... not the biggest sample size for that pick.
Yep, absolutely. Also, I just want to point out, just very not related to this champion select, apparently the other reason they've lost a ban is that he dropped his headphones when they were shaking hands, which we caught on stream. I just want to put that out there. We spotted that. I remember spotting it. Because both of us paused and said, that's not what you should do. So... observe it from us. But the lock-ins, bot lane ADCs are locked in for both teams. Kai'Sa's locked in, and Thresh as well. Crazy high priority. Every support in the game open. Go with Thresh.
Yeah, that's a little bit confusing. Venus has played Thresh once before. He doesn't really strike me as a Thresh one-trick or anything. He has played great Lux games, Nautilus 5 times, so a little bit confused on the Thresh pickup here, especially into something like Xayah. It's not like Thresh absolutely murders Xayah in lane.
Yep, and also by picking Thresh, Xayah Rakan just becomes pretty good because there's no threat of the Lux counter pick.
Yeah, and they completely... watch the Lux. No Lux pickup on either side. That's super surprising. No Yuumi priority either, even though both supports have played Yuumi already. No, I tell a lie. Venus has not played Yuumi, I'm sorry. But Zodiac, actually with 3 Yuumi games already, is most played champ together with Braum. So it's very surprising that Zodiac would not go for the Yuumi here. Not too commonly paired with Xayah though, so maybe that's why he didn't want to go to that Enchanter support.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like once you've seen the Thresh, I think Lover's Lane is actually a really good pick.
Yep.
One of the weaknesses of Rakan at the moment is he's just countered so hard by Lux. And also the Morgana, but... I mean, Thresh isn't going anywhere else. It's not like he can be flexed. 4 junglers being banned here in the second stage makes 6 total. Jarvan will get locked in here for Seal. We seeing DNK Nidalee again?
Probably. I mean, this is a very good pick ban strategy for QTV, forcing Loki on the Nidalee once again. This time, at least, they have a top lane with AD damage secured for themselves, so it's not the usual triple AP topside problem. Instead, they go for triple AD this game to tilt me even more.
Hey, they haven't locked their mid lane yet. They could be an AP mid laner.
Kiana is coming in here.
Or Renekton.
I'm so done with this one.
Oh man.
Loki deserves to lose this series for these atrocious
drafts. What are they
drafts.
doing in these drafts? What are you picking this Renekton for?
Yeah, he watched too much Kiaya.
Why? Like, it's blind and you're not Kiaya. Like, what are you doing? What are these? Oh my god!
Going on?
What is happening? There is not a single. God!
Thank God!
Please.
We could have seen a draft without a single AP champion.
I was about to say we were about to have 10 AD champions. Absolutely, just a fiesta. As it is, it's still 9. The Syndra
Can't really
comes
count
in.
the supports, to be fair. So 7.
fine.
7 out of
7.
8.
Still,
7
7 out of 8.
Still.
Pretty ridiculous. Yeah, Syndra, gonna build attack speed on hit, I think. Just to fit.
What's that Lee Sin pickup? That was the perfect spot to pick your beloved Nidalee. I am flabbergasted. That is absolutely ridiculous.
DNK hovered Lee Sin in game 1, so it's possible he wanted to pick the Lee Sin and his team said, no, play Nidalee. Nidalee didn't work. But maybe he's overruling now? I mean, I'm just speculating.
Yeah, maybe that's true. Game 1, Lee Sin would have been the better pick, and game 2, Nidalee would have been the better pick.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
Man.
Maybe the team was saying, look, pick Lee Sin, and he said, no, Nidalee. So this time the team was like, if you don't pick Lee Sin, you're benched. You're gone. This is definitely a ridiculous draft. This is... We are playing on a level of League of Legends that no man has ever ascended to.
Yeah,
truly,
I mean,
we have
the
gone.
Jace
We've
lock
gone
it would have
diamond.
been the most ridiculous team compositions of all time.
Exactly.
I think.
In terms of skill, we've gone through Diamond, up through Masters, blitzed our way through Challenger, and we've arrived at our final destination, Iron 4. And there's Loki. Yeah, we went all the way around.
And it's
one thing we will have
Aatrox
to
mid
keep an eye
lane.
on. Oh my god. Okay, I mean, that's better. You don't want to match Aatrox into Aurelia, I guess, but I still don't understand this Renekton deck.
So the Renekton pick was to counter the Aurelian top lane, because they're scared of hero dominating top lane, which is fair, I guess.
Yeah, he did that last
with
game.
Nidalee, this draft would have been fine. Absolutely fine. The jungle pick, it was really egregious here for Loki. Lee Sin doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not. DNK, you really like Nidalee, man. Just pick it. You know?
Yeah.
Just play it. It's all good.
To be fair to his team, his first game was not great on the Nidalee. But, spoiler, that was not the right draft to pick Nidalee in. That was the draft to pick Lee Sin in, by the way. They messed up their drafts completely.
I mean, hopefully Loki can... Whoa, they're going aggro here. DNK and Hani just flying in. They force the E skill, which is something, I guess.
And one pot already. He doesn't have the time to get to go back, so this is one corrupting potion stack already gone. That's big. That's actually very big against Renekton early on.
Yep, and they are invading here. We're spotted on a ward on the way in, but they will have to fight over this red.
Wait,
and
what?
it's just give it up. Seal just walks away.
But why?
I'm not sure. Didn't want to go for the smite fight, I guess.
That was confusing. They had the Aurelia there and the inside track for Genza as well. Could have contested this one. Very surprising,
I feel like,
first level.
Yeah, I feel like he certainly could have. And look at TNK, just going to snowball the lead. He's just got enemy red to enemy blue. And Seal is clearing his wolves. This should be a confrontation here. But the early priority in bot lane is going Loki's way. Not by much, but they should still be the first ones to respond.
Seal has a smite available and DNK is not, which DNK should be aware of. So.
Oh, God. As well. Artifact. This is really badly called here. Artifact had absolutely no priority. Lee Sin does get away because he did skill W second, as most Lee Sins do. Oh, down in the bot lane as well. And Rumble breaks out. Hook lands, but not a huge amount of damage going in. Actually, I tell a lie. Jisoo got trucked there.
Yeah, this game, both teams are tired of the 6 kills at 30 minutes shenanigans.
Yeah,
so
they were bored.
They want to brawl.
Also, just want to put it out there. This is 300 gold lead. Nearly. It's like 300 gold.
Yeah, it's from top lane, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, exclusively top lane. I didn't even notice it's 10 CS lead already. That's a little bit concerning, but I guess he does have a lane pushing towards him, so he should be able to even that up fairly quickly.
And Hero has been able to play 1 through 3 in terms of levels without investing a single corrupting potion stack. Really not sure what Hani has been doing in the lane. I guess he was late to lane because he had to invade.
Yeah, I think that was what it was. I think it was just the early push and probably level 2. went in Hero's favor because, I mean, maybe that's why they didn't want to contest it.
Yeah.
They just said, hey, it's better to get priority in our lanes. And that did pay off. I mean, Genza was so much quicker to rotate because the artifact had 0 priority.
I still
But
think
in
they
the end,
could have invested Genza there as well and just secured the first buff for their jungler. Everyone was full health still. I mean, level 1 is dangerous if you're facing Lee Sin and Renekton. Especially if Renekton went for the early stun. I'm not sure what your skill on Renekton on level 1, Q or W. It's probably adaptable,
yeah.
right? I'm not too sure on the Renekton intricacies.
I mean, you definitely want to skill Q, but
Yeah,
if
for
you
early
skill
lane
W,
control, yeah, that's true.
but if you skill W, you know, because there's a level 1 fight, the stun's so much better, and it's not that big a deal. It's not lane losing or anything like that.
No, I think you're right there. Yeah, maybe that's exactly why you lost lane control, because he went for W first to enhance the overall team play.
Genza could be in a little bit of trouble. There's so many minions here. Look how much damage Artifact takes. That's a gank where Genza wins heavily on the damage, and he basically did nothing. Just
yeah, if Genza went for Ignite this game, this was a solo kill. With Ignite, that was an absolute sure kill there. But he has heal and no mana, so he couldn't really do anything there.
Yep. Oh, but here comes the re-engage here. Genza's in a lot of trouble. Takes so much damage, but doesn't go down in the end. Just manages to live. Seal here to reinforce. These junglers are so active. They're just not farming. It's ridiculous. DNK just doesn't want to PvE. He just wants to PvP.
I mean,
he was bored.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
he's
what you want to say.
bored of fastling his jungle with Nidalee. This time he wants to have as little interaction with his own minions as possible and just go for the enemy champions. So far, it's not really paid off for him.
Yeah, absolutely not. He really hasn't found anything. I mean, he has the potential still to get a 3 buff over Seal. A very, very delayed 3 buff, nearly 6 minutes, but a 3 buff nonetheless. And I assume he will head over there now.
But Seal is a very happy boy as he was able to catch experience in the mid lane. So at least he's now level 4 as well. No camps available outside of... now bottom lane camps actually spawned, or bottom side camp I should say, spawned for him. So at least he has something to do on the map right now. Not the greatest ganking opportunity right now for the J4. So he goes back to farming.
Yeah, and he does have scuttle priority here, obviously, since DNK is miles away. Could also see him try and do something early with Dragon here, but it's pretty risky. His bot lane does have priority, which is obviously important, should he want to make that play towards the Ocean Drake. But I don't think he does quite yet.
Yeah, I'd like to see a kill attempted on the bot lane into an earlier Ocean Drake, maybe. You don't really need to secure the kill, you just need to chunk someone out, so he has to go back. Then you have the members advantage, and no TP for the bot laners either, so that should be enough to secure the early Ocean Drake, which is valued a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Looking up at the top lane, this isn't what Renekton's meant to do.
No. What's actually going on in the top lane? I'm super confused.
I really wish we could see a little bit more of this, but I mean, it's probably just been a fairly boring affair to watch. But I'd love to know what's going on that a Renekton has a 17 CS deficit against an Irelia. Like, this was a counter pick, but the ults are coming out here. Hero could throw that whole lead away as, Hani doing so much damage. Hero's trying to run. He flashes, but there is flash on Hani to chase. I guess he just didn't go for it. Maybe he just thought he was never going to catch. That is flash advantage there. Hero needs to be a bit careful here. You've managed to secure a lead over a Renekton, which is huge. Don't throw it all away, son.
Yeah, he already threw away his top lane. Oh, wow. Instant TP back into the top lane. Wanted to catch Hani off guard there.
Yeah,
not
didn't
able
even
to
get
do so.
well.
Play attempted now on the bottom side, trying to capitalize on the isolated top lane. Especially now with TP advantage for Loki, they could look for a dragon fight. Hero seems to be freezing the wave, so there's now a really big decision to be made by Hani. Does he want to contest the freeze, or does he want to look for play together with his team? Seems like he wants to contest the freeze.
So. I think TPing there is a horrifically bad decision. Like, you just walked lane. You're already so far behind. Like, you need to make a TP play.
I'm not sure if I'd agree. I think there was not really that big of a setup for him. I agree with the theory. I think he needed to make something happen on the map because the top lane matchup is not going his way. On the other side, he would have lost.
I don't necessarily think he had to do it at that moment.
Even more CS if he didn't go top.
Yeah, maybe. I just would have preferred him walking to lane just to have the TP advantage. But he would have lost a lot. You are right. I'm not sure. I just want to know how he's
losing a lot. Look at the CS.
Yeah.
It's now.
I just want to know how he's losing. How are you this far behind on a Renekton? Like, this is just Hero putting on an absolute masterclass.
Yeah,
Venus throws out the hook there, but you're never going to capture that Ricard.
What's going on with VCS top laners and Irelia? It seems to be the outplay champion, the outperforming top laner against whatever matchup they throw at you. We saw Yoshino going off on the Irelia last week a few times. Now Hero with a great performance. Razor has already shown up as well. So, wow. Irelia seems to be well practiced for every top lane, and they low-key even adapted the draft to go for a counter pick in the top lane because they were scared of the Aatrox Irelia matchup. That has not worked out for them.
No. Absolutely not. This has gone just so badly. I don't know what it is about VCS Irelias, but man, did they overperform. As you said, this is a champion that apparently just gets a buff on the Vietnamese servers. Like, maybe they're playing on a different 913 that actually just has Irelia wins lane as a patch note. Because, she does not lose a lot. And I'm not sure how. We haven't really been watching much of the top lane, unfortunately, so we're not sure how the trades and stuff are going, but this is bad.
Yeah, I think that's once again a little bit of the problem with a lot of VCS top laners against Irelia, going for the Conqueror against Conqueror, which I really dislike. I talk about that maybe a little bit too often on this cast, but yeah, I don't like the Conqueror challenge into Conqueror Irelia. But hold the thought, play on Genza.
Here could be in a lot of trouble, but the Q misses there from DNK. Ooh, Artifact has to use his flash there. Ooh, the ult comes out there from Genza, and there's the first blood there. Played really well by Seal. Artifact trying desperately to turn it, but the flash invested just to be safe. And that's now 2 kills picked up. Hani's here, and he'll have to just pop his ult for some reason.
And that was almost the last straw, actually, for Loki in this game. They already were behind 1k gold. They needed this play to succeed, and it really did not. So now QG has an advantage in jungle, in mid. Top was already been winning. Bot lane secured plating on their own. So map completely in favor of QG. They secure the first dragon, which will help especially Genza with sustaining the mid lane war.
Yeah, absolutely. This was really poorly played out of Artifact.
I really like how Genza is very calm about the Infernal Chains. They try to re-engage, but DNK eats the whole ult way too late from DNK. I think he needed to go for a burst ult on Genza. He was dying, he was dead there anyway, so I think he needed to go for the play. Maybe look for... he didn't have his flash available, to be fair to him.
Yep, and well, that is nice there. Hero taken down. Celebrity gets that one. I'm pretty sure he had a bounty on him as well, based on farm. They also picked up Rift Herald. We didn't actually spot that. It must have been during the replay. This is a bit of gold going back here. I don't like sharing it. I would have really wanted to get that all on Celebrity. Speaking of which, sorry, just getting some the studio's just talking to me. Yeah, that's right. It is actually time for everyday Kaiser build check-in.
Yeah,
the everyday check-in happens every day. Now, we have a look at the rune here on Kaiser. That's press the attack. There's actually no energized effect on press the attack. It just doesn't have one at all. Completely different rune. And he's built Stormrazor. Buffs energized effect. It's
you
a
don't
shit
like
build.
that?
Don't do it. No.
That's a surprise.
I know. I don't think I've said this before, but there actually is this crazy build. Not a lot of people know about it. It's a little bit of an everyday special where you just build Muramana and then go Ginsu's and then you win more games. So, yeah, not happy. And that is actually the end of the everyday Kaiser check-in, and I'm not happy.
Very
Really
much
displeased.
appreciated. We already had the check-in for triple AD and triple AP topside 3 times today in 2 games, which is interesting.
We're hitting all our riffs here. We've got the script. This is so. Why did you build Stormrazor here?
Yeah, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. He had a lot of time to scale on lane. And we actually, I heard a lot from pro ADCs that they like the power curve from Muramana a lot more, because it's more smooth. You feel strong at every part in the game. Stormrazor actually feels really bad until after the 3rd item hits. It's strong on 1 item, it's okay on 2. 3rd item is where you feel way worse compared to the Muramana build. So.
Absolutely. It's great if you desperately need to spike early. But other than that, it's just not good. Genza's in a lot of trouble here. Hero will come and reinforce, but that was a good hook there from Venus. Boxes up as well. Wow, excellent flawless duet there. Really locks up Artifact for quite a long time. But this is still 9-13. He has that revive. Hero wants this 1v2. Oh, Celebrity's here as well. Is it going to be a 1v3? Celebrity. This could absolutely happen, Celebrity. I don't think you wanted that ult, champ. Woo! That is a 1v3. Pretty much. There was a little bit of help there.
Popping
Triple kill.
Off.
Hero. Change your name, drop the I, put in an E, he's a hero.
Absolutely true. Insane performance so far out of the top laner for QG. Already got our first MVP of the day, and it's looking like a double MVP. I'm not sure if we've ever given a double MVP so far, but this has been a really big spanking for all of low-key from the side of Hero. QG doesn't really have to do anything. Hero is just there and carries them over the line. Don't really understand what Genda was doing there in the bot lane river. No vision or anything secured for him, so he just gets caught out here.
But he does do well here. He gets as much damage as possible out to buy Hero.
Yeah, the ult was super crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. Without that ult, I don't think Hero pulls this off.
Look at the Celebrity healing. He doesn't take any damage. Constantly healing back up. Celebrity tries to challenge him. How does Celebrity think it work? Oh man, Celebrity has not played against enough Aurelias to know that he had no business engaging in that fight. And looking at Aurelia's items, fair enough, she doesn't really have a whole lot secured for herself, but she's still a ridiculous champion.
With the health bars of her 2 allies, of Celebrity's 2 allies, though, you should have realized you had to essentially 1v1. Yeah. You can't 1v1 on Aurelia. No chance.
Especially against the 5-stacked, Conqueror-stacked Aurelia.
Not gonna happen.
It's almost double the damage, I think, from start Aurelia. Aurelia really ramps up quickly in the fight, but yeah, the longer the fight goes, the stronger she gets. More attack speed, more damage on her 5 stacks, more damage on Conqueror as well. A lot of healing. She actually got a lot of Q resets, and Q has a flat healing amount, so that's a lot of healing coming in for her.
Yep, and this is a bit of bot lane pressure here out of QG. They want this Drake, and then they'll probably just turn around, take that bot lane tower that's barely alive. I mean, this is it's a 3.7k gold lead, which isn't the biggest gold lead ever, but how did low-key even get back into this? What do they snowball off? Like, we can't even say that they have a late-game Kaiser threat. Oh my god. This bush. Low-key just... Oh, whoa, why are they calling a TP when people were being? What is going on here? They pick up Hero, but that seemed like horrible miscommunication. Works out in the end.
I think they were super scared of the 2v3 going in the favor of QG. That's why they called in the TP. They wanted to make this play happen, but they were actually too scared to commit 3 players on the play. They thought, okay, maybe this Aurelia is actually able to 2v3 us here. So to be more sure, they went for the TP play. I don't think it's a bad play to get the shutdown. Sadly for them, it went over to the support. And
yeah, I mean, I think that's a bad play, and I don't think he had to take it by any means. Just stop attacking.
Yeah, really. There's no reason to take the kill there. Not a whole lot of threat, so sometimes
No threat.
Yeah, no threat at all. That's true.
Press S, I think that's a pretty huge mistake. I mean, but as I was saying before that play sort of broke out, that's nice for low key, and it does shrink the gold lead a little bit. Maybe makes Hero be a little bit more sheepish in his plays because he's a little bit more scared. But still, overall, how does low key get back into this? They don't have that late game Kaiser because he's got Stormrazor.
There's still an opportunity for him to go crit, but even then I don't think their scaling is anywhere close to QG's. They have the stronger top laner, he's a good team fighter as well, he can just play side lane for the rest of the game and no one will ever be able to 1v1 him. Especially not the two solo laners. Then you have a pretty useless Lee Sin on the side of Loki that is playing against one of the best ADCs into Lee Sin in the game, with Xayah just being able to ult if she needs to, and she's protected by the instant CC on Rakan's charm as well. So the only real target for Loki is Genza, and most of the time Genza can probably pull off his ult before dying. Going for Zhonya's second item, I really like this adaptation as well. It's against 4 AD threats, and you need to prolong the team fight, and you're probably the target, so really like this Zhonya's choice here for Genza as well. Team fights can't really go on Loki's favor. I really don't see that happening.
No, I think their only chance to go for picks. This is a very poorly thought out engage there. Venus just gets absolutely cleaned up. Seal ults and then instantly goes into the stopwatch just to keep himself alive. He's actually going to go down on the backside there. Hani goes in to try and desperately find something. There's a lot of orbs out if Genza presses R right now, but he doesn't. He doesn't actually have ult. It's already been used. But now here comes Hero. The carry has arrived. Carrier is here. Hero gets one kill. Genza gets the double. That's the ace. Should be Baron's a little bit dangerous, but no, they'll be okay.
That's the game there.
Yep.
Oh man, Loki, what happened to you? Loki looked like our best team, or second best team maybe, and now they're losing to QG. This game is almost, I think it's done with. Loki is really not, no, QG is not famous for making big mid-game, late-game mistakes, so I don't expect them to mess up their execution from now on out. They have the easier teamfight execution comp. Look at this again. Venus way too aggressive here. Jisoo with a very easy first kill. Loki has a little bit of a members advantage, but they very good team fighting from Seal, taking away all of the attention from Artifact and DNK, and in the meantime they are able to kill Hani, the strongest frontliner. So
Celebrity flashed forward there. I don't like that.
Oh wow, that E from Syndra actually was super crucial. I didn't see that in the original teamfight. He stunned both of the divers coming on top of Jisoo, and Jisoo was able to live through that. That actually enabled the Baron take. So Genza with a great stun. Oh, good dodge as well. Wow, Genza showing up.
Wow, Genza with the fancy footwork. Doing really, really well. I mean, he was completely caught out there, but just dodged everything.
Yeah, and he adapted his build path. After looking at the last fight, he thought, okay, I thought I am the target, but I got a triple kill, so let's go for more damage. That's a double pan. By the way, triple ocean. QG really not too lucky on the Dragon RNG in these two games, but they have not really suffered from that.
Yeah, absolutely. This has just been such a ridiculously good game out of QG. Obviously not the perfect game or anything like that, but this has been super clean. One or two mistakes, like Genza was sort of just walking down river at one point, just on his own. But what a performance overall out of QG. And I mean, God, don't I look stupid saying this was going to be a stomp.
I mean, you're correct.
It is
a stomp.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's a stomp, but for the wrong team.
Exactly. Venus flashing in there, gets the box, actually hits the hook as well. Venus doing just about everything a Thresh can do in that fight. It does net them 1 kill onto Genza, but it's going to lose them the game as well.
God. It's
I
actually
mean,
just
he had
over
to
now.
go. Like, I'm pretty sure he had to just go there, but...
And they have triple ocean. Let's track the health bar from Seal here.
Yep. It's going to shoot up.
Looks like Varmox. Oh, man.
Yeah. That
40,
you can,
40,
when you can
37.
actually... Yeah, when you can actually watch a health bar tick up, that's when you know there's some pretty nutty health regen going on. This is just going to be a 2-0.
Yeah, and
It's
the
just a
second
straight
game,
2-0.
I think QG will probably pull off, so we still have 2-3 more minutes, but there's no way Loki can back into this game. Triple Ocean is just too strong. With G third item soon enough, and look at Heroes items, actually compared to Hani.
Yep.
So let's
Yeah, this is
this
just...
again.
I mean,
Nicely done by
Venus
Venus.
has
I
he
like
does
this
everything.
adaptation. He actually reads this situation perfectly. He knows that there's a stopwatch available to the mid laner, so he instantly changes up his hook direction and catches Jisoo off guard. But there's no damage to kill Jisoo before he can ult, so... Nice Thresh play. From ahead, that would have been a super good play and carried a team fight, but from behind, not too impactful.
Yeah, exactly. They're just way too far behind. As we have used the expression, oh god, this is a little bit awkward. The hero just coming back, being like, "Come on, man, let's do this." It's all right. I'll carry the game and I'll get you your blue buff too. Don't worry. That said, in terms of score, Gens is actually doing better.
Yeah.
The assist.
But
actually had a really
if
good
you look at the score, Jisoo will get the official MVP, right?
Yeah, he hasn't died. Got the best ratio. I mean, we do have to see how they go about closing this out. I mean,
should be super easy.
Should be super easy. Hani will flash forward there, try and get the engage onto Genza. Celebrity dashes forward as well. Genza's actually going to die. He's been a little bit caught out this game.
A few times. Super careful, because Hani doesn't have anything left.
Nope, and Heroes here. Hani goes down. DNK is next one to be jumped onto. Seal throws himself forward, does get the slow down. In the back, Venus getting knocked up there by Zodiac. What can Loki even do? Celebrity just presses B. Get me out of here. And
yeah,
this
not
should
a whole
now
lot is the answer.
Yep, nope. No.
Do you think Q2E, the coach, not the team, should always take his mobile to stage?
I think the strat going forward is bring your mobile on stage and slash the tires of Loki so they show up late.
Yeah, I think that's the most important part. No. Let the enemy team not have two bans. Very harsh punishment from for Loki here. They actually lose this series very convincingly. I don't think it's only on the bans though. That's not fair to QG. QG absolutely showed up today.
Absolutely, like, no question. The bans did not really factor into that. Obviously, it doesn't help, but it's not why low-key lost today. But that is a very harsh punishment for VCS. That's pretty ridiculous. I don't think any other region would ever do it, that you lose it in game 2 as well.
No, I've never seen double punishment for 2 games in a row. Only one game.
Only it's just game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, regardless of that, I mean, technically both teams were down a little bit. So QG, wow, they looked good.
And finishing the first round robin 4-3 will actually give them the because we are the next 2 teams, I should say, that play Gum against Flash are both sitting on 4 and 2 scores, so one of the 2 will get out today with a 4-3 score, tying QG. So now QG actually contesting for playoffs. We said, okay, they win against the worst teams. They got a free win against them in week 1. How good are they actually? They don't really look like a top team, but with today, that might change.
Yeah, I think we do have to reevaluate them a bit. Not just because they beat low key, though obviously that's pretty significant, but also the way they did it was very clean. They had an excellent game plan. And the biggest criticism we had of them was that they come out of lanes behind, and that means they can't execute on their plays. Hero wasn't coming out of lane behind.
In fact, no one was in this series, which is surprising against Loki. That being said, Loki might not be the strongest laning team, so QG, yeah, with a very good victory here. I'm not sure if they are capable of beating GAM or DBL now, who are probably our strongest laning teams, but they don't need to. If they just want to make playoffs, beat all the other teams that are not as strong in lanes. Your mid game looks super good. Your late game execution is great.
It's not a particularly scathing criticism to say, don't know if you can beat GAM and DBL yet, you know, the two best teams in the league.
Yeah.
Like, not a scathing criticism. Probably right, but I don't think they mind. Considering, I think we certainly were looking at them as being a bottom half team. I think now we really have to be saying they're contending for the top half.
And now we have 4 teams and very tight playoff race. Especially if GAM win today and really cement themselves as one of the top contenders, there will be a big fight between Flash and QG. Flash on the downward trajectory, losing a lot of series lately. If they lose today, they will tie QG at 4-3. And then we might actually see Flash missing out on the playoffs. It's obviously still far away, and QG needs to continue at this performance. But yeah, 4-3 for an absolutely new team in the league. Very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking very, very good here. Is there much else to say on this? I feel like we've sort of hit all the points there. There's very little to sort of be positive about with low key, unfortunately.
Yeah, I have to agree. Low key today looking really off. Weak laning. Very, very bad drafts. Those were atrocious. Not sure what the coaching staff was doing the week. Maybe they had a week off, because those drafts, I think every Reddit Silver analyst could have drafted a better team comp. Just don't go for triple AD or triple AP, and the team comp will already be better. So, not the hardest task ever.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes total sense to me. So, one more thing to talk about, at least, is MVP for Game 2.
Is there a discussion to be had? I
don't think so. Hero.
Great laning phase, made something with his did something with his advantage. Triple kill was a little bit fortunate, I should say, because celebrity jumping in was not something he could have expected, but yeah, he played out that fight mechanically crisp, and his decision making all game was sound as well. Great performance by the new or now back in top laner for QG.
Absolutely. Looking very good there. I think Neven will be watching this one going, yeah, that was my one run, wasn't it? Actually, giving the MVP. That might be a little bit because of the score. I think Hero's kills had a little bit more impact, but Genya did have a very good game.
Oh yeah, he's called Genya again. Wait, I'm confused. Wasn't he Genza before?
Yeah,
he alternates between
yeah,
Genya and Genza all the time. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Today he felt like a Genya, so he's a Genya, I guess.
I think in game he was Genza though. It was definitely his head.
I'm a little surprised. But Hero doesn't get a single MVP from the broadcast, from the official broadcast, which is
absolute burglary.
Yeah, definitely. Hero played great. Maybe in game 1 you could have given it to another person, but game 2 I think was an absolute lock for MVP. That being said, Genza or Genya, whatever he is called today, had a good Syndra performance. Great stuns and team fights. Maybe they looked at the last team fight and saw his very great Syndra stuns to thwart the re-engage on his ADC. That was well played. in the end, I still think Hero was the MVP of this game.
Completely agree. Well, that is the Series 1, not the victor we expected. Just...
I mean, good warm-up. We expected a 2-0.
Yeah.
Not this direction, but this will spice up, I should say, the league even more. We'll have a very close playoff race, and the next series is our banger for the first half of week 4. We have Gum against Flash. Gum finally has the opportunity to prove themselves against every top team. They only lost against Loki in week 1. They beat every other top team, especially DBL last week was the highlight of the week. Gum right now looking very hot, looking like the best team. And there's one very big storyline we'll touch on once we hit the Rift again in 76 minutes.
Yep, it's a long break.
But for now, let's catch our breath, and we'll see you guys again with the highlight of the day, Gum against Flash, in a little bit more than an hour. Thank you guys for joining us for the first series, and yeah, enjoy your break.
Yep.